Have you ever given everything, your loyalty, your effort, your truth, and still felt invisible? You look someone in the eyes, you offer your soul, you stay loyal, you try to be enough. Yet somehow you never are. They smile at you, but they don't see you. They listen, but they don't feel you. It's a quiet kind of pain, the one that doesn't scream or bleed, but drains you slowly from the inside out. And the cruelest part? No one notices, because from the outside you look strong, but inside, you're breaking. Welcome to Invisible Power. This isn't about fake motivation or recycled self-help quotes. Here we dissect the human soul. We talk about the power that is born in silence, the power that emerges when pain stops being your cage and becomes your weapon. This is the dark side of psychology, the side that frees you once you dare to face it. Listen carefully. Nothing makes you more attractive than surviving your own hell without losing your calm. That serenity isn't learned in classrooms or books. It's forged in lonely nights when no one claps for you, when no one believes in you, when you keep going anyway. That calm becomes your scent, your aura, your presence. And even if women never admit it, they feel it. They sense it. Because that mix of pain and control can't be faked. It's primal. Seneca said, "Fire tests gold. Adversity tests men." It's not just a quote about endurance. It's a truth about transformation. A man who's been burned and hasn't broken carries a different gaze. He doesn't seek to impress. He observes. He doesn't talk to be heard. His silence already speaks. He doesn't chase to be seen. He becomes impossible to ignore. That is the kind of magnetism you don't learn. You survive. Women sense your value, but they rarely say it. Not because they don't notice, but because your calm unsettles them. It confuses them that you don't beg for attention. It disturbs them that you don't chase validation. In a world where everyone screams to be seen, you choose to be a mystery, and that drives them insane. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That's the heart of dark psychology applied to attraction, emotional control, the power to remain unshaken even when you're burning inside. Women sense that, admire it and fear it, because your stillness exposes their chaos. Your self-control becomes a mirror that forces them to face their own insecurities, and no one enjoys looking at their reflection in someone else's discipline. You know why people underestimate you? Because you don't make noise, because you don't compete, because you don't need to prove anything, but sooner or later, they realize there's something different about you, something rare. That difference is your advantage. That's your invisible power. Robert Greene called it the art of effortless attraction. It's not manipulation, it's perception. When you project calm, when you don't react, when your silence speaks louder than words, you radiate dominance. And dominance, both mental and emotional, is the purest form of power. You don't need to shout it. You don't need to sell it. The strongest minds always speak softly. But here's the paradox. The more control you have over yourself, the more uncomfortable the world feels around you. Society rewards exposure, not introspection. It teaches people to seek attention, not self-mastery. So when you walk through life quietly, you become an enigma. And enigmas attract. Daniel Kahneman proved that the human brain craves what it cannot explain. Mystery releases dopamine. Dopamine fuels desire. So when a woman can't read you, when she doesn't know why you're calm, why you don't chase, her mind starts chasing you. She replays your words, your silence, your presence. And the more she tries to decode you, the deeper she falls. That's pure psychology. Ethical control, invisible power. But here's the truth. That power doesn't come from pretending to be confident. It comes from no longer needing to pretend, from reaching a point where pain no longer breaks you. It polishes you, and once you've made peace with the silence, you become dangerous, because you've stopped fearing it. You're no longer afraid to lose, because you already have. You're no longer afraid to be rejected, because you've lived through it. You're no longer afraid to be alone, because solitude didn't kill you, it refined you. It made you selective, aware, lethal in your calm, and that energy can't be ignored. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." Your thoughts define your frequency. Chaotic thoughts emit anxiety. Disciplined thoughts emit magnetism. Attraction isn't a trick, it's inner. Coherence. That's why men who have healed, who observe instead of reacting, become hypnotic without even trying. This is where dark psychology serves its higher purpose, not to manipulate others, but to protect your peace, to stop giving your energy to those who drain it, to stop being a reflection and become the mirror. Because real power isn't about controlling others, it's about being uncontrollable yourself. Edward Bernays understood this. Control perception, and you control reality. You can shape how the world sees you, not by faking strength, but by embodying it. True strength doesn't need to be displayed. It simply is. And once you master that calm, once your mind becomes colder than your emotions, the world begins to bend toward your energy without you saying a word. Women notice. Men respect, and life rewards what now vibrates within you. This is where your transformation begins. From pain to power, from need to dominance, from noise to silence, your attractiveness doesn't lie in what you do, but in what you no longer need to do. And that, my friend, is the darkest, purest, and most magnetic form of seduction. There's a reason why certain people drain you and others elevate you. It's not random, it's design. Some people, consciously or not, are emotional predators. They feed on your reactions, your attention, your validation. They don't want your love. They want your energy. And they'll disguise it as connection, as romance, even as friendship. Dark psychology teaches that every interaction is an exchange of energy. The question is, are you the one directing that exchange, or the one being drained by it? Toxic people aren't monsters. They're architects of control. They read emotions like maps. They test boundaries through charm, silence, or guilt. And if you don't understand how these tactics work, you'll hand over your peace without even realizing it. The charm phase. It always begins beautifully. They mirror you, your values, your interests, your tone. It's not real empathy. It's calculated reflection. They study you like a psychologist studies a subject. The goal is to build trust fast, because trust is the doorway to control. The devaluation phase. Once they have your admiration, they shift. Subtle criticism disguised as concern, small doses of guilt, occasional withdrawal of affection. Suddenly you start working harder to regain their approval. That's the trap. They've conditioned your nervous system to associate peace with their attention. You're not in love anymore. You're addicted. Robert B. Cialdini called this the principle of scarcity. When something becomes inconsistent or uncertain, the mind values it more. Toxic individuals weaponize that principle. They create emotional scarcity, hot and cold, love and silence, and your brain interprets it as depth. But it's not depth. It's manipulation, and the way out is awareness. Once you see the pattern, the spell begins to break. You start realizing that their power existed only in your reaction. Epictetus would remind you, no one can harm you unless you consent. The moment you stop reacting, you reclaim control, because reaction is currency in the world of psychological warfare. Whoever reacts first loses power. Sun Tzu said, "The greatest victory is that which requires no battle." The same applies here. You don't defeat toxic people by confronting them. You defeat them by starving their control. Silence becomes your sword. Indifference becomes your shield. When someone tests your boundaries, they're not just testing what you'll allow, they're testing how much of yourself you'll betray to keep them comfortable. Every time you say yes when your body screams no, you trade a piece of your power for a drop of temporary peace. Stop doing that, because each compromise you make against your intuition erodes the magnetism that makes you unique. True confidence isn't about being loud. It's about being unavailable to chaos. Toxic people thrive on uncertainty. Calm people destroy it. When your emotions are no longer accessible for manipulation, you become untouchable. Here's a truth most never admit. Power doesn't corrupt, and it reveals. When you gain control over your emotions, you'll start seeing who others truly are. Some will respect your new boundaries. Others will resent them. The resentment is proof you are being used. Kevin Dutton calls this the wisdom of psychopaths, the ability to stay cool under pressure, to detach emotionally while observing everything. It doesn't mean becoming cruel, it means becoming strategic. You're not reacting, you're reading. You're no longer a participant in their chaos, you're the observer behind the glass. Watch people's micro-expressions, Paul Ekman proved that micro-movements in the face expose the truth faster than words. A forced smile, a delayed blink, a tension in the jaw, these are windows into intention. Learn to see without judgment. Just register, because once you see, you can't be deceived again. But knowledge without discipline is useless. That's where practice begins. Start small. When someone tries to guilt trip you, pause. Silence is power. When someone gives you a backhanded compliment, smile slowly. Don't defend. Don't explain. Just observe. When someone plays the victim to manipulate you, ask one calm question. What are you hoping I'll do with that information? Watch how fast the facade cracks. Robert Greene wrote that people crave control because they lack self-control. When you develop self-control, you become what others crave but cannot consume. That's the paradox of power. The less you need, the more desirable you become. Toxic individuals sense this. That's why they retreat when they can't hook you emotionally. They can't feed on indifference. Your peace starves their ego, and slowly they move on to easier prey. But here's the beauty. Once you learn these patterns, you stop fearing them. You start using dark psychology ethically to protect your boundaries, not to manipulate others. You stop chasing attention and start mastering perception. You realize that control isn't domination, it's direction. You choose where your energy goes because not every battle deserves your presence. Some victories are silent, and they echo longer. When you walk through the world with that awareness, everything shifts. Your eyes see more, your words weigh more, your energy feels heavier in the best way. People sense your restraint, your calm, your depth. That's why they stare a second longer. That's why they can't explain why you feel different. It's not arrogance, it's mastery. This is how you begin to weaponize stillness. This is how you win without fighting. And this is how you transform your pain into precision. Understanding dark psychology is one thing. Living it, embodying it, is another. Knowledge means nothing if it doesn't rewire your daily behavior. Power isn't a concept, it's a posture. It's the way you breathe when the world provokes you, the way you pause when others rush, the way you speak slowly when everyone else is desperate to be heard. Every moment is a chance to train your mind, because every interaction is a test. Who controls the frame, you or the situation? Let's start simple. You want control? Stop reacting instantly. The mind of a manipulator feeds on immediacy. The longer you take to respond, the more power you hold. Delay your reactions. Slow your breath. Count to 3 before you speak. It may sound small, but it's revolutionary. That pause is the space where power lives. Niccolo Machiavelli once wrote, "Men are so simple and so much creatures of habit, that he who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." That's why awareness isn't enough. You must practice detachment until it becomes instinct. Start with your mornings. Before you touch your phone, sit in silence. Breathe. Remind yourself, nothing that happens today can touch my mind unless I allow it. This isn't meditation. This is conditioning. You're building the neural equivalent of armor. When you walk into a room, train yourself to scan, not to impress. Observe posture, energy, words that don't match tone. Don't seek approval. Seek data. Robert D. Hare called this the cold empathy of the controlled mind, the ability to read emotions without being enslaved by them. You're not heartless, you're strategic. Now, here's where ethics meets dominance. Using dark psychology doesn't mean manipulating others. It means understanding how manipulation works, so you can't be manipulated. Once you see the strings, you stop being the puppet. Try this exercise. When someone compliments you, don't rush to deflect or overthink. Pause. Smile slightly. A small silence after praise communicates confidence. It tells the subconscious of the other person that validation is unnecessary. You're teaching them how to treat you with respect, not worship. Another practice, emotional fasting. Just as your body benefits from detox, so does your psyche. Choose one day a week to disconnect from stimulation. No scrolling, no texting, no validation loops. Sit with boredom until it no longer scares you. Because when silence no longer threatens you, no one can use it against you. Understand this. Your self-control is your magnetism. Every disciplined thought radiates differently. Women feel it. Men sense it. The world responds to it. It's the unspoken why behind your presence. Now imagine this moment. You're talking to someone who tries to provoke you, maybe with sarcasm, maybe with arrogance. Instead of defending yourself, you simply observe. You don't flinch. You don't argue. You smile, not to please, but because you know something they don't. Their chaos doesn't reach you. That's power. That's control. That's dark calm. The state where every reaction becomes a conscious choice. B.F. Skinner once said that behavior is shaped by reinforcement. The same rule applies to your emotions. Every time you stay calm when you could explode, you reinforce strength. Every time you walk away when you could argue, you strengthen discipline. Every time you choose silence over noise, you sharpen your edge. Make it a habit to observe more than you speak. Speak less, but when you do, mean every word. Pause between sentences. Let your words breathe. People who talk fast seek approval. People who talk slow own attention. By now, you've probably noticed, true attraction doesn't come from effort. It comes from energy, from a subtle feeling that you don't need anyone's validation to know your worth. And that realization changes everything. You stop chasing people who don't match your energy. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop apologizing for being calm in a world addicted to chaos. That's when women start noticing you differently. Your silence becomes intriguing. Your presence becomes heavy. Your gaze becomes a mirror. They feel safe, yet uncertain, curious, yet nervous. And that duality is the birthplace of attraction. You've crossed from chasing to choosing, from proving to observing, from attachment to awareness. That's the moment you embody what Robert Greene called the cultivated mystery. You no longer sell your story. You become the story others want to read. Now pause, reflect. If you've reached this point, it means something inside you has awakened. You've seen glimpses of your own potential, that quiet, unshakable confidence that needs no audience. And if this message resonates with you, subscribe to Invisible Power, because this is just the beginning of your evolution. Here, we don't chase validation. We master perception. We don't play the game. We design it. The techniques we explore aren't about manipulation. They're about liberation. Freedom from reaction. Freedom from approval. Freedom from control. Once you begin to live like this, you'll notice the shift. Your energy starts to pull instead of push. Your voice carries weight even in whispers. And the world begins to bend subtly toward your calm. Because the ultimate form of power isn't dominance. It's peace that cannot be disturbed. And that peace, my friend, is what makes you unforgettable. There comes a moment in every man's life when he stops asking, "Why didn't they see my value?" and starts asking, "Why did I keep giving it to those who never earned it?" That's the shift. The moment the pain turns into clarity. The moment attraction turns into presence. The moment you stop chasing validation, and validation starts chasing you. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards energy. And the rarest energy of all is serenity. You've learned that your silence speaks louder than words. You've learned that your indifference isn't coldness, it's control. And you've learned that not every connection deserves your vulnerability. Now you stand on the edge of something new. You're no longer the man who seeks to be understood. You're the man who understands himself. You've seen how people reveal their intentions when they realize they can't control you. You've seen how attraction changes when it's no longer desperate, when it's rooted in calm. Remember this, the calm man is the most dangerous man in the room, not because he wants control, but because he doesn't need it. He is free, and freedom is magnetic. When you reach this level, you begin to see how everything connects, how your failures were lessons, how your heartbreaks were initiation rituals, how your loneliness was not punishment but preparation. Each scar on your heart carved a deeper understanding of human nature, and that understanding, that quiet awareness, is what makes you powerful. You no longer chase intensity, you choose stability. You no longer beg for attention, you command it with silence. You no longer react to chaos, you become the calm inside the storm. Robert Greene once said, "Power is the ability to influence reality without force." That's what you've built, invisible influence, a presence that changes the energy of a room before you even speak. That's what women feel when they glance at you and look away quickly. That's why they avoid admitting attraction, because it's not shallow. It's psychological. It's primal. They feel the weight of a man who has conquered himself. And that kind of man can't be controlled. Here's your challenge. The next time someone tries to provoke you, don't respond. The next time silence feels heavy, breathe deeper. The next time rejection stings, smile. Because those moments aren't tests from the world, they're reminders from your higher self. Reminders that power isn't what you show, it's what you withhold. You don't need to prove your worth, you need to remember it. The moment you realize that, every room becomes your stage. Not because you're performing, but because your energy commands gravity. Your presence becomes an unspoken language, and your silence becomes legend. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free." That bravery isn't loud. It's the courage to be at peace in a world addicted to noise. And when you finally master that, when you become the calm observer in a sea of chaos, you're not just attractive, you're unforgettable, because you embody something rare, something the modern world has forgotten how to create: inner authority. So now I'll leave you with one question, the kind that echoes long after the video fades. If tomorrow, no one approved of you, if every voice went silent, would you still move like a king? That's the real test. Not how others see you, but how much power you can hold when no one's watching. Because in the end, true dominance isn't about control over others. It's about peace within yourself. And when you master that, you become the kind of man who doesn't chase attraction. You are attraction.